Greetings, Facebook and YouTube public. I make this video tonight as a response unto the far-right Christian pastor who said that having a female president would be a worser thing than having a pussy grabber such as Donald Trump as our president. This pastor claims that it would be worse, and I will use the term worser, to have Hillary Clinton or any female whatsoever as the president than to have than to have Donald Trump, even the Donald Trump that hath been boasting recently of having made sexual contact with certain reality show contestants, even at that time without those contestants' permission. Then to this conservative Christian pastor, in his opinion, it would be worse to have any female whatsoever as our president than to have a man. Excuse me, I have to correct myself. An individual who happens to be male, who has been more than a little overt, as it were, about having made sexual contact with these female reality show contestants, because according to this conservative pastor, it would be worse to have any female as a president because females and women are not to have authority over men, according to this pastor. I would like to address that pastor. Even if you are right, even if you were actually correct, sir, that would be men in behaving the way he did. Trump did not prove himself a man. He proved himself a dick. Let's start there. And don't get me wrong, sir. I'm sure that even though you and I would doubtless have many differences of opinion in many areas, I am fairly confident of being able to find common ground with you on one thing. I am tired of the political correctness cult. I'm sure you are too. A lot of people across political labels and orientations are tired of it. Now, where you and I probably would differ in many areas is other matters surrounding politics. However, sir, I repeat, even if you were correct in regard to it always being wrong for women to have authority over men, that is, I repeat, over men. And someone with a penis who makes sexual contact with anybody whether it's someone with a face like this or not, is not a man. And I also want to address myself unto you, sir, because your own Bible states fairly clearly what behavior is appropriate and what behavior, sexually speaking, is appropriate. And your Bible Sir, Mr. Daubenmire, does not say that this behavior is okay for men only or female only. It does not say anywhere in your Bible that that the sexual immorality, according to what your Bible teaches, is sexual immorality. Your Bible does not say that it is sexually immoral only for females. I give unto you Galatians 5. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, and such like. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. That was your Bible, sir. Galatians 5. What I have seen Mr. Trump engage in rather chronically since beginning his campaign are things that I would not want in the leader of my country, regardless of what was in my leader's pants. They include wrath, they include verbal behavior, that included derailing the arguments of his opponent via the use of common playground bullying tactics. They include the use of personal attacks that have nothing to do with the issue at hand whatsoever, and everything to do with personal attacks on the person's looks. Now, Mr. Daubenmire, I'm no model. That much is clear. And Mr. Daubenmire, Reverend Daubenmire, I probably wouldn't win any beauty contests in very many places, and that's okay. But you know what? I really hope that when you go to the polls, if you go at all, Reverend Daubenmire, you go to vote based on the issues you hold dear, and not based on your preferred candidate's looks. I really hope that where Mr. Trump stands on those issues that you hold dear matters to you, and not just whether what's in his pants is a penis or a pussy. Because let me tell you something. If I were a conservative Christian, Trump would be the farthest thing from what I would want in a candidate. Because because his values if the way he's been behaving since his attacks at the start of his campaign when he was running against Carly Fiorina. If his words can be taken as evidence, then Mr. Donald Trump's values include coarseness, they include brutality, they include the willingness to derail even a reasoned argument through the use of put-downs. They include clear vulgarity. They include hostility to dialogue. If, and only if, Donald Trump's words and behavior on the world screen since beginning to run for office can be taken as evidence of his values. And Mr. Daubenmire, I grew up here in America just like you did. But my parents are good academics. And the values I was raised both by the place I grew up here on the West Coast and by the books I read, including the Bible. Include doing my best, which isn't always good. I would hasten for to add, but doing my best to be as gentle as I can, even when I'd rather go splody. It includes doing my best whenever I possibly can. And if I'm being open, there are times when it feels more possible than others, and certainly more probable than others, to do my best whenever I possibly can. If I have to disagree with somebody, to do it peacefully. If I can, and whenever I can manage it, to do it gently or shut up. And again, if I'm being open, there are times when that both feels very, very difficult and is very difficult. The values that my reading taught me include never give up, when people are trying to hurt you. Stand strong. Stand strong. Push through, no matter what, as much as you possibly can. And don't ever give up. The values my reading taught me include as much as you possibly can, no matter what you're facing. Be patient. Patience comes from the Latin patientia, endurance, to endure, especially to endure while dealing with a suffering of some sort, or a pain of some sort. It does not necessarily mean to feel mellow while enduring. Reverend Daubenmire. I wish to offer you one more passage from your Bible, where Jesus, or Yeshua, if you will permit, said that the reason Moses allowed divorce was because man had proven heart of heart, but that in the resurrection, in the kingdom of heaven, the reign of heaven, there was no male and there was no female, and there was no marriage, in the sense that humans understood marriage, but that all in the reign of heaven should be as one. Be well, Mr. Daubenmire. And may your God bless you in all the ways you are willing to embrace.